I'll go ahead and explain it to you folks. Okay, dark energy, dark mass. Mass is what fits in spaces and empty spaces. There's nothing there's nothing in this world that has a hole or is empty that isn't filled. Now, that what fills it comes from the particle. These particles are super small. They live for probably a split second, maybe. Then black. It's a black particle, and it has this white substance that's around it. Once it pops in, that white substance acts as comes off, and that is what makes up the dark mass. And dark mass looks like a gelatin kind of substance. It's around you right now. It's around me. And some of my pictures that I do have, you can actually see it. Like when I move my head, you can see how it kind of like tries to follow me in a vacuum as I'm moving my head. It kind of like walking through a spider web. You know, as it pulls on it, it's pretty cool. It's very cool stuff. But that product is made from the actual particle. The particle, like I said, pops in, survives maybe a split second, and before it disappears, there's a bunch more that come in its place. Kind of like an unstable reaction with the atom. You know, if you did a nuclear reaction on a bad atom or whatever, the wrong type of atom, you know, you get all these particles going crazy. That's what it's doing. You'll know this. You can see this particle. You can see it right now. All you have to do is close your eyes. Close your eyes, back your eyelids. You'll see these little tiny dots. Those are actual particles. Those are functioning particles. They're happening all around you. They never stop, and they're busy. Now, the actual mass, the gelatin type weird shit they leave behind, it too kind of moves in a wavy stage, but that's because of all the particles moving about. Now, what I've noticed on what I've been able to film is that when these particles touch something, a mass of any type, it leaves like an indent. So, like right now, almost my whole body is left an indent, but the new particles coming in are going to break it up into pieces, kind of split it up into pieces. But for some strange reason, some of the indent are in pieces, but it would seem that it remembers it. And inside the gelatin, under certain light, you can see that there's violets, violet red, greens, yellows, and the actual particle itself is black with that white substance that surrounds it. It's my theory, this is my theory part of it, is that somehow, some way, Mother Nature can restore everything that the particles and the mass has been encountered with, because those impressions, it looks like they're still there, they're just in pieces. And just the fact that you can see violets coloring inside the gelatin, that would mean one thing: color. Like you got the black, the particles black with the white substance. You have your bases there, and then you have the colors from the color wheel. So it makes you wonder why. But that's just my thought on that. But as far as the black mass, it covers everything. It fills. It's like a super thin, not super thin, but it's like a gelatin. And if you move your hand, when you move your hand across, some of it will try to follow your hand a little bit, and it's pretty trip to see. It's very interesting to see. And as far as the particles go, what you've seen in like between your eyelids and your eyes, those are the particles too. They exist everywhere where there's empty, where there's space in between something. They seem to pop up. So that is what covers everything. This black mass, it's all over the universe, I suppose. There are some changes with it. It comes in sizes. The sizes are different. And in your obviously in your eyeballs, it's more of a two-dimensional perception when you're looking at it. So I'm not sure how that works on whether it's in a third dimensional shape or in a second dimensional shape all the time. The mass though is obviously in a third dimensional shape because it moves and it can expand and shut down. But it's like I said, it's almost clear, and if you can see that mass on certain days, it's really wavy, and sometimes you can see a hint of color in it, and that is the actual byproduct from these particles, these little tiny particles that pop in and out, 100 million a minute, and that surrounds everything. As I'm speaking right now, you're probably looking at your furniture or your TV and seeing these same particles. That's not your eyes playing tricks on you. Those are actually functioning particles popping in and out and dying. I don't know if they're dying, but disappearing, and more coming in their place. So that is a total trip. There's an actual CERN-style reaction going on right in front of you, and you don't even realize it. But that's your particles, and they have that covering, that milky covering, which seems to make it, makes the gel and keeps the gel going. And these particles, everything's growing, because when one particle disappears, so many more come in its place. It's ever so expanding. I'd like to get more in detail with this. I'm really hoping, to get some help with this, so I can explain it better and to do a little more visual aid for people. But like I said, I just want to throw this out there because someday, if I don't find somebody to help me out with it, somebody else is going to come up with it, and I just want to be the first to actually explain it. And it's always there. You can see it. It's not invisible. As far as the gel shit, that seems to me that's something your eye and your mind filter out when you're looking. Kind of like a fish underwater. A fish probably really doesn't see water. It sees probably nothing. It's visuals, and its mind separates like the blur from the water so it survive in it and see without it hindering its line of sight. And I think it works the same with the black mass or matter. And as far as the particles go, dark energy, you're seeing it all around you, and you just never noticed it before. You thought maybe your eyes were just seeing those little dots. It was like an eye thing. It's not. I promise you, it's not. That is those little dots are actually the dark energy which produces the matter. And I thought I'd throw this with you. When I can get some help and have better vision, have good visuals to demonstrate, show you, I will. Just remember, this is Marv Bachmeyer, and I discovered it first. Have a wonderful life.